Good to see that a lot of people have started logging in into this live cast from Intellect Design Arena. Over the last 10 days, more than 70,000 people have logged in and seen the post about the Intellect and have expressed interest in joining Intellect. And several people have also taken the hackathon challenge that Intellect has thrown. And since we had a lot of requests coming in to understand what we do as an organization, we decided to bring some of the best folks from across this organization, Intellect, and talk to you, right? My name is Vijay Kumar. I'm part of the human resources team, and with me are these gentlemen, Pitambaram. Now, Pitambaram, if you can put up your hand there. Yeah, that's Pitambaram. He's a tech geek from us, our side. He's working on cloud technology. He's architecting one of our latest offerings, which is IDX. He extracts data. Data is what this guy does. That's a platform that he's offering. And then we have our CEO of India and South Asia business, Mr. Ramanan, right? He comes from ISB, lots of experience in various fields, and he will be there to give us a global perspective. And we have Ram Kumar, who's heading our corporate liquidity product, right? That's Ram Kumar for you. It's been like, what, 25, 30 years since he passed out of IIT, Ram Kumar? Yeah, he's working on this product and taking it across the globe. And we have Harpreet Singh, and Harpreet looks like young, but it's been some time since he passed out of XLRI. Yeah, that's Harpreet. Harpreet takes care of our cards product, and he's a global guy. He doesn't sit in India most of the time. He's all over the place. Yeah. And then we're also joined by Dimple. She is. Dimple, can we see your hand up, please? Is Dimple? Okay, there she is. Dimple is based with Dubai. She's from Sri Lanka, and she's been part of sales team. And now she is a solution architect working very close with all our customers, right? That's quickly, friends, the panelists that we have here for you today. And what we are going to do is this. Can we have the slide also up, team? Team, I'd like to have the slides on. Oh my. Nagi, is the slide up? Just give us a moment, friends. There seems to be a little bit of, we may be the best technology company in the world, but when it comes to presenting on Zoom, there can sometimes be an issue. Nagi, is the slide coming up? Yeah, there we are. Right, this is the headquarters of this company, Intellect Design Arena, right? And what we're going to be talking is this, and can we move to the next slide, please? Right, today we're going to talk to you about what fintech itself is, right? And we'll tell you about what is financial technology. We are a fintech company, right? We'll talk to you about what is fintech, about Intellect as an organization, what we are doing in the fintech space, and then we will talk to you about what makes this organization different, right? And design is in the DNA of this organization, design thinking. We'll hear a little about it. And I also have a special offer for the people who are joining in today, right? It's a surprise. You wait for it towards the end, right? And then we'll talk about the opportunities. We have close to 1,000 freshers who expressed interest, right? Fresh engineering grads on from computer science and IT background, who have expressed interest, and they've about 2,000 people have already taken the hackathon, and we are awaiting the results as well. As we are talking today, I'm expecting the result to come in at around 4:30, and if and when it does come in, I will tell you about it, right? And we will talk about what are the kind of opportunities that exist in Intellect and what you will get to do, and we'll also talk about some of the expectations that this organization has of youngsters such as yourselves, right? May first go over to Harpreet. Harpreet is our, current day guy, right? Harpreet, can you tell us a little about what fintech itself is? People talk about IT companies, people talk about technology companies. What is this finance and technology? What is fintech?
Harpreet? Sure. Thanks, Vijay. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. Glad to be here. So interesting. Interesting question there, Vijay. What is a fintech? What is a fintech all about, right? So if you take these two concepts that we have, finance on one hand and technology on the other hand, right? Both have independently very, very important in our lives today, right? We cannot exist without finance, specifically in the scenario that we've been undergoing for the last year and a half, couple of years now. Without purchasing anything, without assigning a value of the products that we want in our lives, it is an integral part of what we are as humans, right? Similarly, in the last few years, technology increasingly has been playing a very important role, right? So what exactly is fintech all about? So at the amalgamation, if you kind of combine these two processes or streams together, right? It is the intersection of that. So companies who are specializing in providing that integration in the intersection and making it more relevant into the consumers' lives, right? In a very, very simplistic manner, if you were to understand what a fintech companies, fintech companies are all about. So as a fintech, we use technology to provide financial services for banks and FIs, right? Financial institutions, who in turn can provide services for their customers and consumers. Now, just moving on to the next slide, and this is where it kind of becomes more relevant for us. Can you go on to the next slide, please? Right. So for the audience that's there, can you imagine a world without some of the brands that we'll be putting on? Please go ahead. This is where things like the Facebook, your Apple, Netflix becomes so important in our lives, right? I mean, all these companies that you're talking about are nothing but technology providers or technology companies who have made these experiences a very real one in our lives, right? Moving on. So some of the examples, if I were to talk about some of the names that we see on the screen, right? So these are prime examples of companies who are using technology and providing financial services, right? So much so that the banks of today, they either need to become a fintech or they have to use fintechs to provide services for their customers, right? So that's the relevancy of a fintech in today's world. Moving on. So, these are two examples that I wanted to share with the audience, right? Of two different brands who, without having any product of their own, have used fintech or financial technology to provide services, right? There is nothing which Airbnb owns. There's nothing which actually Uber also owns, right? All they do is use technology and also use a method of payments to provide services for customers who either want to go for who are traveling and therefore want to take something on rent, or if they want to go from place A to place B, right? I mean, two very, very prime examples of how companies using technology as well as providing, financial technology to their customers. There's one more point that I would want to highlight, and then I'll hand it back to you, Vijay. If you can go to the next slide, please. So what exactly do we mean by a fintech, and what does a fintech do, right? And what do we do as a fintech, right? As I mentioned, when they both come together, right? This is where at the amalgamation of both technology and finance to kind of empower the financial ecosystem, right? So ecosystem can be for individual customers like you and I. It can be for large corporates, right? That's where technology plays a very important role to provide financial services and empower the entire ecosystem around us. Just to give you a few examples, if you can go on, please. These are some of the parameters that a fintech does, and I'll kind of hand it back to you, Vijay, to kind of explain this further.
Yeah, that's right, Harpreet. No, we were talking about fintech, and one of the things that we had said when we had written about us being a fintech company is, we said we're a fintech unicorn, right? Several people might have the question, what is a unicorn, right? No, it's not just a horse with a on top. It's a company with $1 billion valuation, right? If you look at the whole of India, right, we are like the only profitable fintech unicorn in this country, right? It's been just about 6 years since incorporation of Intellect Design Arena as an organization. It's not just about growing, but growing with profits. That's what is a unicorn. That's where we are a fintech unicorn. Talking about fintech, this is not something that has happened overnight, right? There's been a lot of things that have happened over the last several years leading up to where we are today. Ram, whom we have here with us, he's working on liquidity product, right? Now, while we do have multiple platforms and product offerings from our side, he is working on taking some of the best to our customers from across the globe. Now, I request Ram, with this kind of experience that he has, to take us through a journey on what's happened, what has transformed in the world of financial technology and where we have come here now. Ram, over to you, sir.
Hey, thanks, Vijay. So Harpreet actually showed some of the apps that all of us routinely use, right? So many of us use Swiggy, or many of us use Zomato, Uber, and so on and so forth. So let me ask you, how many people actually got trained on them? Did you get any training? Did you receive any training from these people to how to use Uber or Ola or Paytm or anything like that? It is so easy to use. It is so intuitive to use. It's so simple to use. But mind you, the solution behind it is not actually very simple. It requires hours and hours of thinking and designing to get that product out that anybody can use it. There is no qualifying criteria. Nobody says that unless you are a graduate, you cannot use Uber. Nobody says that. Anybody can use it. College student can use it. Retired person can use it. Vegetable seller can use it. Anybody can use it. There is no barrier for anybody to come in and use. To make a product that is so efficient and that is correct every single time, requires a lot of designing, a lot of thinking. And that is the revolution that has happened. It is not that because we have internet connection, things have become easier. Every product that you see and use on a daily basis goes through rounds of design. I myself spend hours. We have a design lab right next to us, and we spend several hours designing every small thing that goes into the application. That is the key, differentiation when it comes to fintech. So convenience is there, simplicity is there, and of course efficiency. Nowadays you can have, because of this lockdown, you can have your music teacher in Bangalore. You can be sitting in Chennai and learning music from this person in Bangalore and make the payments without actually meeting somebody face to face. I'm going to stretch your imagination a little bit, because whatever apps that you have seen are all that you and I use as retail customers. But I deal with corporate banking. So what it means is that the customers of the bank are really corporates like Reliance or IBM or Pepsi or Coke. They are the customers of the bank, the corporate banks. And I provide solutions for these kind of customers. So immediately you can, there are small and big corporates. There are multinational corporates. There are corporates that work out of several countries from Australia to Canada. What kind of solutions are there for them, right? And how do you offer something that is compelling for multinational banks and multinational corporates? That also is part of fintech, which you and I don't see on a day-to-day basis. And to create something that is at a global stage, where the same company working in Australia or London or Canada can use it round the clock, that's a different challenge by itself. Different country regulations, different currencies, and so on and so forth. So you will find what it used to be a complex system and it can only do this much. Then there is a paperwork. Then you move to something else. All that has been broken down, and it all has come down to either one web page or one app. And the kind of design that goes behind it is what calls it as a revolution. It's not just, every computer now has got more memory. Every internet speeds have increased. But that's not really the revolution. The revolution is in the design behind it. It's in the solution that you provide, and that takes a lot of thinking. Vijay.
Sorry, I was on mute. Ram, would you say that the next 10, 15 years belong to financial technology, the way the world is going?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if the banks are worried about anybody, the competition, if you ask, I'm not at liberty to take customers' names because of confidentiality. But I know personally some of the top banks in US, if you ask them who's your competition, they will not name the next bank on the street. They will say it is some fintech company. They have departments within the bank who are watching the fintechs and seeing what they are doing, because they are worried that the fintechs will take away their business, and it is actually happening. So the banks, of course, are going to be there and they will continue to exist. But the fintech world has itself become the number one competition for the banks. That is the status that it has now come up to, and it's a very real thing that we see across the world.
And if I might add on to that, Vijay. So this is Harpreet here. So that's the reason I kind of mentioned earlier, saying either banks will have to become a fintech, right, in the short term coming future, or you need a fintech to power your services, because otherwise, the banks today are losing market space to these fintechs who are providing financial services. I think that's where Ram's point becomes very important.
Yeah, that's right. Talking about fintech, right? It took us about 6 years for us to become a $1 billion valued organization, right? And I'm going to be showing you an audiovisual just in a bit, right? You see the kind of work that Intellect has done till now, and if any impact can be made on the world, it is fintech organizations. Here comes the video for you. Right. Incredible is what we call ourselves, incredible intellect. You see the kind of work that the organization is doing. If you look at some of those slides that came up, perhaps each and every person who's here watching this, live cast has been touched by any one of Intellect's offerings. That is the spirit of this organization. And we may now request our CEO for India's and South Asia business, Ramanan, to talk to us about what does this organization do? What is a spread of offerings? We are talking fintech. Are we a company that is offering something that is niche, or what are the kind of spread that we as an organization have? Ramanan, over to you, sir.
Thanks, Vijay, and good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It was actually nice to hear Harpreet, Ram, and Vijay and I start off. But just to give you a perspective, most of us who just spoke so far started our careers even before Google was formed. Okay, so if we had to do any research, we had to go to the libraries and do our research. There was no Google to search. So that's the generation. So we are the digital converts that have come to this organization and working with young minds like most of you who are there listening to us, so that we can build these fintech products for the world. Let me start off as to what are the set of products that we have as Intellect. Let's start with consumer banking. Okay. So I know most of you are geeks who cracked the hackathon, who cracked the test, but I'm not too sure how much you will be familiar with banking terminologies. So I'm going to express these concepts on a layman term just to make sure that all of you understand. But if any of you have any higher level questions that you want to answer, please put it on the chat window. We will surely take that. Let's start with what is consumer banking, or IGCB is Intellect Global Consumer Banking. Each of us are consumers of banks, right? I mean, we have our savings accounts there. We have our loan accounts there. It could be a student loan, two-wheeler loan, home loan. We have credit cards from the bank. These are where banks have relationship with consumers. This is called consumer banking. From Intellect's table, we have a core banking solution, which basically takes care of this accounting entries, opening your account till you withdraw your money, and if at all you want to close your account. So if you've heard the terminology called CASA, it's corporate account and savings accounts. So the core banking addresses the needs of both retail customers as well as the corporate customers. Incidentally, Intellect is the only global company in the world having a core banking solution that caters to the need of the central banks of countries. Okay, so only global company which caters to the core banking needs of a central bank of a country. Most of the players convert the consumer or the other core banking, commercial core banking solution for the needs of the central banks. You would by now understand the needs and the products are different. Other than that, we have a lending suite, which is basically origination to management. Like I said, it could be cards origination, it could be your loan origination for your vehicles, or any of the loan products. It could be a MSME loans, corporate loans. So the complete loan origination and management suite. We have a credit card application management, right from card origination till everyday transactions that you will do and the payments that you'll make on the cards platform. We have a wealth management product. What is wealth management? The moment your savings go beyond a certain limit, you might want to invest in certain products. It could be fixed deposit, it could be in mutual funds, it could be in insurance, it could be in bonds. So there is a wealth management product that manages all this. These are the suite of products that we have from global consumer banking. Now coming to the second thing, which is IGTB, or Intellect Global Transaction Banking. Now this is where Ram was mentioning about how we address the needs of corporates. So our customers are banks, they address the needs of corporates. Okay, so the suite of products that typically come in this would be like liquidity that Ram was mentioning about. Pepsi as a company has operations in multiple countries. How do they manage their liquidity or the cash requirement across multiple geographies? Ram was humble not to share this, but maybe it came in the video. I'm not too sure how many of you noticed in the video. Globally, 23% of all liquidity sweeps in 6 top currencies run on an Intellect platform. Okay, globally, 23% of all liquidity sweeps. So phenomenal numbers. That's the product that Ram manages. We have something called trade and supply chain finance. Again, this is about lending to corporates against a trade or against deliverables, invoice financing, as the case may be. Similarly, there's a product on the cash management side. So this is all on the banks offering services to the corporate. So you covered the consumer, you covered the corporate. There is the next vertical that we have, which is called IRTM, or Intellect Risk and Treasury Management. Okay, any bank has to manage their treasury operations. So if an individual has a surplus, it's called wealth and wealth management platform. If a corporate has surplus or a bank has surplus, it's called a treasury. If a country has a surplus, it's also called a treasury. So our central bank's treasury management runs on Intellect platform. So 600, nearly more than $500 billion of assets across multiple categories, which could be US bonds, it could be gold, it could be other asset classes. Those are managed on Intellect Treasury. Our treasury product cuts across an NBFC client to a large bank, a global bank. The likes of Citibank use our treasury management. So it's a wide spectrum of products. That vertical also has certain other capital market products. I'm not getting into those details at the moment, but just to give you a flavor of what RTM does, I took treasury as an operation. The last vertical that we have is our insurance vertical, which is called Intellect Seek. It's in the space of simplifying insurance operations. So let me start with life insurance and then go to personal lines. In India, if you look at insurance, if you talk to your parents or uncles and aunts, the first insurance policy that they would have taken would be from the largest PSU life insurer in the country, which still holds about 36% of the market share. That customer manages the end customer servicing, as they call it, e-services, using an Intellect platform. Globally, we also have a product in the AI/ML space, which Pete will cover in subsequent conversation, which caters to the commercial lines in the US or advanced market, including Europe, where more than 10 large carriers use our platform to manage their underwriting requirements. So this is the way Intellect product suites are. It's very encouraging that a lot of you have taken the hackathon and looking forward to work with the global leader in fintech. So back to you, Vijay. I hope I've done justice to the product suite that we've built over the last 6 years, but would be good to connect and interact with these young minds further.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it all. Ramanan, what you have said, if you're imagining banking, imagine any part of banking, we are there. Imagine any part of financial technology. Imagine money moving across the world, right? If there are like 10 buses going and people are sitting in that and going, you convert the people to money moving. Out of 10 buses, 6 buses are having Intellect folks sitting in.
Yes, yes.
That is how it is. Yeah. So that's good to hear. If you have to create so much of an impact around the world with an organization headquartered in Chennai, India, going across the world, 96 countries, and delivering solutions, it's not a small thing. All this would have been possible because of the technology behind all this, right? We are at utmost in the front. We are a technology company. We are a financial technology company, and I invite Pitambaram. He's a youngster amongst us, right? To talk to us about the technology that makes this organization different, right? What differentiates us from the rest of the organizations in the world, and how our technology and the way we have architected so that there is a uniformity in architecture of all the offerings. We are offering a lot of stuff, right? How is there uniformity of architecture, and why are we claiming to be one of the best, right? What makes us to be whatever we are? A slide, please, and Pitambaram, over to you.
Thanks, Vijay. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, okay. Pitambaram, you're audible. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. As Ramanan and Ramkumar mentioned, right? Yes, the whole product suits what we have, right? One of the most important aspects what we do is design. So the design of the products are the core part of the overall process what we are doing, and all the products what we have are all architected to be cloud native solutions which are running on there's some of the prominent cloud platforms like AWS or Azure platform, and we have a partnership with AWS and Azure to run our products. So the main aspect of one of the product engineering or the design processes. Our products are designed to be scalable, and it is extremely performant to handle the load or the capacity what is supposed to be handled. So I represent the iSeek division, and as Raman was saying, right? So one of the property and casual lines is using one of our platforms called as IDX. IDX is an intelligent data extraction platform. It is a SaaS-based platform. It's an AML-based platform, which is basically extracting data out of structured and unstructured documents, just processing the data, and it is giving some an operational efficiency to the customers. So if I say that before the platform was used by our customers, the customers used to spend at least a week's time to process a single document which is given for coverage or insurance code process, right? So after the platform has been done, it can be done within minutes. So that is a kind of operational efficiency which the products which we are designing brings to the table. And we are following different types of architecture methodologies, like event-driven methodology or the digital 360 methodology, where we do end-to-end customer 360 onboarding, or how to help the customers of customers to bring more business to them. So all these aspects goes into the overall design. We also focus on building a lot of low-code platforms. For example, some of our platforms help the integration aspects when it comes to fintech, because any fintech organization has a lot of systems which we have to integrate with. So we have built low-code platform which enables the integration in a much faster manner, where we can onboard, we can bring in more data to the system so that we can process it efficiently. So those are some of the things what we do on our product, which makes our product superior to the market, and we help our customers grow their business. Over to you, Vijay.
Thank you, Pitambaram. If you look at the slide which Pitambaram has put up, you see that this is an organization that has built everything organically. That's how we've grown. There are many companies which have bought over about 10 companies, put it all together and claim to be up there. Right, and the unified architecture, the cloud native architecture, these are things that makes this organization very, very special, right? Moving on to the next slide, I'm going to be showing you the kind of impact that we have created across the globe, right? As Intellect, if you see the world turning blue, blue is representing Intellect. These are different areas where we are present. 240 customers. Here we are talking about banks and financial institutions from across the world, and about 97 countries where we are present, right? When I say where we are present, where our product is currently working, this is the kind of spread that the managers, that the organization has managed for the last 6 years, and to be an Indian company, having done this is a really proud moment. Ramanan, you're leading India and South Asia business. If you want to talk about, you may want to talk about the impact that we are creating for the organization, the e-governance initiatives that we have taken. I know we are a global player, but this being a largely Indian audience, they would like to hear about what is it that we are doing to impact the development of this nation.
Sure. So I think that's the right thing, right? I mean, if I were to talk about some opportunity that's happening in Spain or Portugal, you may not be able to relate, but if we are able to give you perspective of what we do to a country of the size and geography of India, you will be able to relate the impact that we're creating in the global space. Okay, so let's take this example of GEM portal, as it's called, Government e-Marketplace. This is where government and other PSU organizations are able to source products for the requirement. Okay. If any of you have parents who work in the government sector or public sector units, you might realize that in the past, your parents would say that how, or you might have read in the papers how procurement was fraught with a lot of dissonance, leading to journalists investigating those kind of purchases that the government did. Now with government e-marketplace, there's a lot of transparency in the procurement process. And this platform that the government of India uses is built by Intellect, right? Key message that I want you to take away is that the size of this platform, the ability to transact the gross merchandise value, as they call it in the e-commerce space, GMV, in India is equivalent to the size of the two largest e-commerce players that you popularly are aware of, right? You and I would have gone and bought in some e-commerce platform. There are two large players in the market. When Diwali sales happen, they report their numbers. Sum total of the two of them, GEM is larger than that. In addition to the normal purchasing process where you scroll through what you want to buy, pen and paper to stationery to defense machines to trucks, everything is in there. They also have the ability to do what the government procurement process is called an RFP process and a reverse auction process. So that's the way this whole model works. Can we go to the next slide? I just thought I will bring a color to a few more things.
Ramanan, if you are perhaps not hearing much about GEM on the news, I guess it's because it's running so silently and so well, and that nobody feels the need to escalate anything against the government
So
or anybody else.
So when the finance minister called one of the IT heads for a review, I was wondering, thanks God, that our applications don't have those kind of issues, that we don't have to be called by the finance minister for reviews. Okay, that was on the lighter side. Just to get back on what other financial infrastructure that we've delivered for the country, the central bank operates on Intellect platform. This is for the central banking solution as well as the treasury solutions. So are other financial institutions like NABARD, which is a multinodal agency, mutual fund utility, insurance, and GEM. So if you look at financial institutions per se, there's a banking, there is investment side, mutual funds, insurance side, LIC, NABARD for lending. Everything runs on Intellect platform. So that's the scale that we've been able to participate as part of the financial infrastructure in the country. So that will give you a sense, and imagine replicating this in those 90 odd countries that we already present. Back to you, Vijay, and looking forward to hearing from us.
Opportunity that's ahead of us, Ramanan, and if this is what we're doing in India, right? We'd also like to move on and see what's happening around the globe. It's not just these customers that we are looking at. We definitely have seen that we are working with about 240 odd 60 or 70 customers around the world.
80 of them are in the Indian South Asia geography, which includes Bangladesh and Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and I now invite Dimple, who is joined us from Dubai. And she's been around the world. She's been working with a lot of customers. She's close to the customers in multiple places. And invite her to talk about what is it that we are doing across the globe, and what is the kind of impact that we are making to customers across the globe, and how is the outlook for Intellect as an organization as we are marching ahead towards the future. We definitely know that the future is for financial technology, and Intellect has already taken huge strides in financial technology. That being an Indian player, right? And we are going into the advanced markets and succeeding against some of the best. Yeah, Dimple, over to you to talk about what is it that we are doing. What is the special magic that you're bringing about, Dimple? You're a solution architect. You architect a lot of great solutions for the customers. I'd like you to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Vijay. And I would like to start something which you highlighted. Imagining the banking, we are there. I would rather change that terminology into different ways for youngsters to understand. Imagining there is a lifestyle change, then Intellect is there actually. Because today we are closely working with banks to enhance the lifestyle of their customers. Not only banks, we are actually moving into the finance industry as a whole. If you look at today, we are strong players in the central bank industry. We have a specialized banking product for central banks across the world, starting with Africa. Africa, we have all the leading central bank systems are running with us, starting with Africa, as well as we're moving into the APAC, starting with Indonesia, and most of the countries we are expanding into the central banking space. And we are the leaders in the central banking space. It is multilingual platform that we are moving. It's not only English. We support French, Arabic, and other languages as well. So we are technically very strong in the central bank space. Let's move on to the lifestyle. As Preet highlighted, everything today is on your palm, because today we are revolutioning and we are changing the total lifestyle of the customer through the mobile. Starting with the normal customer, where he seamlessly onboard himself, and with the paperless banking, just scan, read, identify, onboard yourself. Bringing the power of AI and ML, we have introduced total understand your customer, which we call as hyper-personalization. Then we have moved to another area. We understand them and we give quick lending, borrowing, which we call as 360 credit, which immediate credit lines for the customer with the power of our technology. Because this is what Preet mentioned, that our solution have been prepared to modernize and design the need of the customer. So we are strongly venturing into the lifestyle bank. With the pandemic picking up and with everybody start working from home, touchless banking, touchless environment, we picked up the market and we moved into fully digitalized lifestyle bank. Then into the transaction banking area to bring it contextual experience in your corporate area. So we are expanding. And not only that, when you look at the e-commerce market in Germany, with one of the leading organization, it's Otto, which is into the e-commerce. Today, we are strongly partnering with them to provide the credit lines to the customer, end-to-end digital experience credit line, along with the core services. And moving on to the other part, like Concentra, that is America, Canada, that part of the world we have moved in to bring in total digital experience for the corporate banking. When you say corporate banking, you might be thinking, what is the difference between retail and corporate, which Ramanan highlighted, mainly focusing on the corporate services for the corporate sector as big corporates, as well as for the retail customers for their retail needs. Everything, not only that, it comes with a lifestyle bank like social banking, WhatsApp banking. Not only that, we are into the space of chat banking today. We are today focusing on bringing chat-based banking as well. So we are expanding across the world with different solutions, targeting different finance needs of the customer. That's all, Vijay.
Yeah, thank you, Dimple, for taking us around the world in such a short time. Maybe you call it not even 80 days, 8 days, 8 minutes, or less than 8 minutes. Huh? Thank you for that, Dimple. In fact, if we were to work like this, right, around the world, and with the kind of changes that are happening today in the world, right now, we know about the COVID kind of situation and all that. All this is possible because of something that's very different about this organization. We say the greatest differentiator for this organization is thinking, right? You put thinking at the center. We've always put thinking ahead. If we need to imagine, or like you said, Dimple, reimagine the way the financial transactions, financial technology is going to be operating in the future, you need to be thinking ahead of everybody else. To do that, the thing that the organization deploys is what is called as design thinking. There's a lot of work and research that the organization has done on design thinking, and the organization has also set up its own school of design thinking and offers certifications, trains students such as yourselves and several other organizations on design thinking. And interestingly, in the coming month, in January, our chairman has offered to run a design thinking course online for fourth year college grads from such as yourselves. It's going to be happening in the 3rd or the 4th week of January, and we'll be happy to offer that to the people who have joined in for this session, right? Free of cost. And we'll also be giving you a certificate on design thinking, right? I'd like to take you on a tour of the organization and about how we are applying design thinking. Maybe you want to have a look at how the workspace looks like, what the organization is, what design thinking and what design center is, the organization has created the first and only one of its kind financial technology design center in the world. People from across the world have come and have been overawed by what they've seen. Yeah. So here is a video which talks about the design center that the organization has.
At the world's only financial technology design center, financial institutions can now experience the power of collaborative design for serious business outcomes. 8012 FT Design Center is a revolutionary collaborative workspace spread over 6 distinct zones. The Pi space initiates a dialogue on why design matters and reflects on design patterns in business, technology, and operations. The Co-Paris Labs attack the 7 dimensions of complexity across customer experience, operations efficiency, performance, analytics, risk management, integration, and security. The FT design space draws together business design, technology design, and operations design in close physical proximity. This unique approach helps visualize the 3 imperatives in a single integrated view. White spaces are immediately apparent. Dots are connected. Exploring pain points, probing interdependencies, and integrating roles, processes, data, and customers all vividly come alive in this design space. At Omega, all limiting beliefs are challenged. Guided high-performance workouts for homogeneous and cross-functional business unit teams address constraints and architect solutions. The Solution Design Zone is an advanced collaborative design facility. The world's only financial technology design center encourages financial institutions to take design seriously.
Yeah, that's a quick view of the office and design center that we have. Right? If you look at it, the workspace is very interesting. We believe a lot in collaborative workspaces. When you see the table arrangement, you have 6 people sitting around a table. It's about people working in a team. We call it a benzene. You know how the benzene structure is, right? Very, very strong and bonded. We look at all 6 together as a single person, right? When you give a work assignment, you give the work assignment for a benzene, not just individual. It's not set of individuals working against each other, but people working together. That's the kind of work atmosphere. And by application of design thinking, you'll get to understand a lot more about design thinking once you attend the course. It is, we believe it is by putting thinking ahead of everything else. What is the simple way, if I can tell you what design thinking is? It is first designing your thinking before you actually think the design, right? When you look at various people around you, your teachers, your parents, or some people that you admire, when you put a problem or a challenge to them, the way that they would normally respond to that problem, right? That is the way a person thinks. So it is about people in this organization thinking about challenges and opportunities that come about in a particular way, which is a design thinking way. That is what differentiates the organization from the rest of the players. Now, if we have such a beautiful office and we're working here, collaborative workspace, we would actually have enjoyed working here, right? And Harpreet is a large team which was here and working together, right? And Harpreet, how did you manage transitioning from work from office to work from home that you're doing now, right? How is it even possible in the current setup?
Yeah. So that's the interesting bit of what we have managed to achieve in the last year and a half, couple of years. When we were forced into the lockdown, it was almost like an emergency mode, right? I mean, it happened so suddenly that all of us were kind of innovate on the fly, right? So fortunately for us, in terms of our preparedness to act quickly, thanks to all the projects that we do around the globe, we kind of quickly managed to kind of allocate laptops, allocate workstations to our people. We managed to make sure that they could safely reach back to their hometowns or move out of our main office areas, based out of their own homes or their hometowns, right? And we kind of made sure that all of us were connected real time as well as connected with the clients. So I think ensuring that speed to action, making sure that we were all adequately prepared to face up to the challenge. The first few days were tough, but I guess once about 25-30 days into it, as well as establishing rules of engagement with our clients, we quickly moved into a working rhythm, and in fact it worked so beautifully that in the last couple of years we actually not only maintained our run rate in terms of our revenue, in terms of winning new deals, and in terms of implementing the projects that we were undertaking. In the last couple of years, we not only maintained that, we increased it. We have probably one of the fastest growth rates in terms of all the fintechs across the globe. Back to you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Nothing has stopped you from doing what you do best, Harpreet.
Correct.
Thank you for that. Right. And talking about next slide, please. We have a lot of youngsters here today in this call, and obviously the question that we have is, what is it that we will do here? When I joined the organization, the first year, second year, third year, what is it that I'm going to be doing, right? Pete, you want to tell us what does a youngster do? You have a lot of youngsters in your team. You yourself are a youngster, right? But you're already leading our IDX offering. Yeah, it is not just about age; it is about the capability. You're one of the best admired guys in the company.
Yeah, sure.
What is it a person with about 2, 3, 4 years experience within the organization be doing, in designing, engineering, and delivering products?
Right. So as soon as we join the organization, right? So what we do is we take them to the product journey or design angle process, like what we do as part of the product. We involve them in the design activities as well, and we take their feedback very seriously, because today's young generation mindsets works totally different from the earlier mindsets, right? And the technology catch-up is also very fast. So we listen to them very carefully, and we take their feedbacks in terms of design as well as implementation. And to help them, right? Because they are starting up, so we have one of our team leads over there with them, where we handhold them, we do pair programming, we review their codes very easily. The main aspect of them is like the mindset of the people should be open to learn, right? So that is one of the key things what we are looking for from the people who are joining us. So we tend to push them, we tend to encourage them to learn more frequently. Failing is good. If you are failing, what I encourage is to fail fast, right? So that we tend to help you to succeed on the journey. So that is something what we always help our youngsters. So in my current team, I have around 80 people for me who is working on the platform, and there are situated around 20 states all over India, right? So I have around definitely 20 people who are youngsters in this team, so who has joined me newly, and they are helping me build the product in a very fantastic fashion, I would say.
Beautiful. And the technology that we work on, I know it's not just about technology. We call engineers who join us as fintech engineers. And it is about, you're not just a developer, you're not a coder, you're beyond that, right?
Right. It's not about technology, right? We use a lot of different technologies. In terms of programming languages, we use Java, Python, Node.js. Whichever comes naturally to the person who's joining us. We encourage them to become more a full stack engineer over the period, because that helps them over the career as well. So the technology is not the problem. The problem is the problem-solving mindset and the mindset to learn. Right. That is the key. What we are looking for.
Said it is the problem-solving mindset and not just understanding technology, but the domain that you're supporting.
Right.
Your expertise will come once you understand the industry that you're supporting. So from day one, it's ingrained in your mind that you're a fintech engineer. We call you as a fintech engineer. Right? That's what we do, and it is about maintaining and enhancing. The second point that we have here is mission-critical banking. Right? Harpreet will know well that when you're working with banks, some of the solutions that we provide, be it live support or the kind of products that you give, it is critical to a bank. Any small failure, can you imagine a failure happening when a few $1 million are getting transacted between two different players? No, you cannot do that. You want to give some experience from your cards business.
So yeah, I mean, let me give let me give some examples across the spectrum. So whether it is let's say a retailer in South America, who get more than 2 million transactions per second, right, during the festive season, in terms of cards, transactions happening on the credit cards, or if let's say some core banking transaction emanating from UK or Europe, right, which needs to go through, or a customer having a problem in terms of some process around the savings bank account emanating from South Africa, or we spoke about India and the central banking experience that we have from India, right? I mean, the fact that from across the nation we had a overnight process of demonetization happening, right? How do we kind of make sure that the systems are up and running, in the central bank, right? So all these are different examples of how mission critical the banking requirements are, and therefore leading products and leading financial services therefore becomes all the more critical for us, right? And having systems which are secure, which are stable, which are on the cloud in terms of both speed to market, in terms of making any of the real-time changes, maintaining those changes, supporting banks and other FIs to kind of maintain the systems at their end, becomes all the more important. So we are in this game of being 24/7 active, 24/7 reactive, 24/7 on the guard, and making sure that our customers are always happy and satisfied, right? So therefore we are the backbone of everything that goes around the globe, right? And this is, like you mentioned, we spoke about 90 plus countries, right? And therefore it becomes all the more important to keep a watch across the globe.
And I guess that's the experience that you're creating, the FANG experience. I guess people understand what FANG means, the kind of experience that you get with applications like Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, or Google, right? And that's the world that we are in. And
the F needs to change. The F needs to change now with the M coming into the picture. That's the only difference. Right. Meta.
Yeah. Dimple, you want to talk something about the FANG experience you deliver to some of the customers there?
Yes, as Harpreet mentioned, we have to be watchful, and we are on the ground. And the most important part is today, our solutions are very strongly getting implemented in cloud. Today, we are hosting in AWS, Azure, as well as across the world. So it is everything online, real time. And the most important is, this is sometimes when we talk about it, people might feel this is a very stressful work. Actually, this is not the stressful work. This is the passion. Today, we all as a team driving our passion. It is one side, it is my professional life, but this is our passion. Starting with everyone, been working closely with Harpreet and the team and everyone. And we are working with youngsters. Okay, if I take our generation is different, youngsters' generation is different. But we all drive this passion. The minute you get in and feel it as a passion, this is where you live and make your customer happy. You get that slight happiness when you deliver something. Especially recently, we integrated with Marketplace, that we brought e-commerce into a single app. That is online real time. You can order food from our app. You can order food, groceries, everything from a single app. And not only that, through a credit line and through your card as well. Pay by Apple Pay, Google Pay, and so on. Now, this is online real time. Can we sleep? Can our support teams sleep? Yes, we can sleep because this technology is strong. Same way, it is a passion and it's a little pride that when you fly around the world, when you see your product running, when you see your friends using this product, which is being built by our team. When you say our team, it's everyone, because the good part of our organization is that we don't have we don't feel there is an age gap, generation gap. We always, when a youngster comes on board, we hear them out. We pick their new technology. We drive with them and we put them in front of the customer. They get a good experience. They hear the customer. Now, with that, we carry that pride along with us. This is something which is very unique. I have experience because with Intellect, it's a very unique experience that anyone could ever have.
Thank you, Dimple, for that. The passion actually is flowing out when you're talking. It is about actually building expertise in what we do, right? With the kind of exposure that we have in the financial world. In 10 years' time, what you tend to become as an expert, you can, like what we say internally, right? You go teach banking to a banker. That is something that you do because you're actually creating tomorrow's banking. You're creating how tomorrow financial transactions will happen. That is where we are. And with the application of design thinking, you're able to look beyond what can be seen. Look at all the blind spots, right? What is untold, right? That is what you do. And yes, with the strong focus on technology, leveraging the technology, we're able to help our clients, to succeed in the competitive market space. And by the way, we have been running this contest, right? The programming challenge. Close to 2,000 people have taken. We've got, as we are talking, I've got the results. I've got the results of, I've asked for the top 3 people. And I've just decided to announce a gift of a laptop for the first ranked person. And Bose is something that I like. Bose headphones for the person who comes second. And the person comes third. What do we give? Again, a Bose. Yeah. So we will give that person a Bose speaker, right? This is what they're going to get. I've got the names here. I'll come to the names in just a bit. Just hang on, guys. Maybe it's one of you who has won. And before we get there, right? And I would like to ask the leaders here, what would you expect from somebody who's joining your team, somebody who's joining Intellect, right? So there are a lot of people here and they're looking forward to joining this organization, right? If at all they come on board, what do you expect out of them? Let me shoot it out first to Harpreet. Harpreet, you're on mute. You're on mute, Harpreet.
Sorry, apology. So as you would have seen, the responses coming in from somebody like a Dimple, right? I mean, one of the things that I particularly look forward to is passion, right? I mean, you need to have the passion and hunger to make a difference. We kind of point number 4 over here in terms of deep and wide exposure to the financial world is something that we are really passionate about. I'm looking for the same quality to be there in terms of the people who join me in that journey. The people need to be passionate about technology. People need to be passionate about creating a difference, right? I mean, so we are not really in a solution. We are not only providing a solution for what the bank or an FI requires. We are also looking into the future, right? So it's that passion and the hunger that I'm seeking in today's youngsters, and I guess we have a good mix of that crowd that you mentioned, right? I think I've gone through the profiles. I can see that those qualities in the people that we are trying to hire from. So it's these couple of A, the passion and hunger to succeed, and B, with an outlook towards creating the future.
Beautiful. Pete, what will you look from them?
I would definitely say open to learn, right? So I don't want them to limit on any particular technology like Java or Python, right? Be open to learn anything which comes to your plate. Always expect something to be there. Adapt to yourself. Adaptation is something which I would always want them to be on. Very, very important skill which I want them to have. So that is a kind of because I myself started my career when it was monolithic. Now it went into digital, and now it is in cloud. So the journey itself is, you should have an adaptability in the first place.
Absolutely. There's a lot of personal experience there. The secret sauce behind your winning is what you're giving them. Yeah. Ramkumar, would you like to say what you'll expect from youngsters? You have a large team, you are manufacturing products for us across all the spectrum, and now you're focusing on liquidity. What do you expect from the youngsters?
Yeah, sure. So, think of it, right? We are an Indian headquartered company, and we provide solutions to the really top banks across the world. So what I expect is a global standard, really speaking. We may be at whatever standard to begin with, but the aspiration has to be global standard, nothing less. The biggest bank in the world has a number of options to go and buy their software from. If they have to come to us, then we have to be nothing less than global standard. So whatever it takes to get there is what is expectation. So what does it take? Harpreet said passion, absolutely. Then learning, Pete said, you have to learn technology, you have to learn domain, you have to learn the user, the design part of it. So it takes a lot of commitment and continuous learning. When I started, there were some technologies which I'm sure nobody even recognizes them now. Technology keeps changing, domain keeps changing. So we have to have that mindset of continuous learning and benchmark against the global standards, nothing less than that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ram. And Dimple, what would you expect from youngsters joining your team?
Yes, the very first thing I would say, I go with the Harpreet, the passion. You need to passionate about what you are doing. And most importantly is your attitude, positive attitude. Every time, sometimes we fail, we succeed, but always have positive attitude, work as a team. The third one, as Preet mentioned, it has to be a creative thinking, design thinking mindset. Think differently, think different than others. So that what drives a different, or we are here to make a difference. It's a key culture of Intellect is support each other, create a design thinking environment. So that's what I would expect a team who join us.
Wonderful, Dimple. May I restate that, design thinking is something that we not only teach those in Intellect, but we are happy to create an ecosystem of design thinkers. And that's one of the reasons the organization, through its School of Design Thinking, keeps teaching and certifying a lot of teachers in several colleges and students and other organizations as well on design thinking. Our chairman personally got inspired by design thinking when he went to Stanford in the late 2000s, and he brought it to India. And then he created this design center, which was the largest and the only one of its kind financial technology design center. And just so that people benefit out of it, in the 3rd or 4th week of January, we are bringing the design center in design thinking course for you online to be conducted personally by our chairman, Mr. Arun Jain. And this will be absolutely free of cost for you, but you will need to register ahead. We will be letting you know. We've got your contacts, and we'll let you know. Yeah. So with those expectations, we've got some questions also, which have come from folks. A couple of questions we'll take, and then we'll announce the winners, right? I've got the winners' names right here, but I'm just going to be holding it a little bit, yeah, before we'll take some questions. Here we have this question which says, what all technologies and languages should I be conversant with in order to succeed at Intellect? We heard something more than just languages and technologies, right? Pete, but nevertheless, you may want to tell them a little bit about how we are a Java shop and what we do with Python and so on.
Sure. Yeah, predominantly we do a lot of stuff in Java, but in the recent times and changes, what we are seeing, right? AI, ML technologies are coming in. A lot of work goes in Python. So Python is preferred in terms of when we are trying to use AI, ML. We use, for the front-end technologies, we use Vue.js, AngularJS, React.js, a lot of front-end JavaScript frameworks which are there, but whichever depends on which product or whatever need of the product is, we tend to choose different scripting languages for the front-end technologies. In terms of the architecture side, when it comes to the cloud engineering part of it, AWS is the go-to-market place for now. But in terms of cloud engineering, Kubernetes, Dockers, those are the preferred cloud technologies which we are trying to use today. So those are the ones which we are preferring from a language standpoint. Databases, we use SQL, NoSQL, Postgres, MongoDB, any database. We have a product which is running in multiple databases together as well. From a data engineering aspect, if you see, we have big data technologies like Spark or data warehouses like data warehouse is also there. So we are in multiple places. So different products have different needs. So depending upon needs, we used to choose the languages and the technologies.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Pete. And there's a question which says, will I get training in finance if I join? Right? It is a little bit more than finance. Yes, you'll be trained on financial technology. Okay. So it is about understanding banks. Who would want to talk about how you learn, this world of financial technology, right? Ram, you want to talk about how you learn and pick up expertise in financial technology over a period of time?
Yeah, so pretty much I had the same question when I joined. I actually had done my mechanical engineering so many years ago. And I neither knew banking nor did I knew software at that time. And as Ramanan said, there was no Google also to search. So a lot of training, one has to depend on a lot of training, and that goes into any induction program that we have. So we have training into the domain, whether it's corporate banking or whether it is consumer banking. So there is training on the domain part. And of course, there is training on the technology part. Yes, nowadays we have tools, we have online courses, we have a number of certificate courses that are available from many universities also. Things have become very simple, but we will lay a lot of emphasis on learning and teaching. So not only do we do the training, but we will also expect after 1 or 2 years that people conduct training for other people. So it is a continuous learning and teaching culture out here.
Being in this organization and rubbing shoulders with some of the best, right? We have people who have done 15, 20, 25 years in banks, multiple banks from across the world. Harpreet himself, he has worked with Citibank for a long time. And the kind of functional expertise that people carry, and you tend to work with them. What it would have taken Harpreet 15 years to learn something, and we will be able to get it. Not to mistake Harpreet, maybe in a year's time we will download that from you. The kind of capability that you would have picked up for a long period of time. Yeah.
Sure. So that's an interesting perspective, right? So I worked for 15 years with one bank, whereas in the last 15 months I would have worked with at least 50 banks or prospects, right? So in terms of just the diversity of various banking experiences, in terms of various geographies, in terms of being present in those geographies, this is something that we do pretty well. I mean, at a very young age, we have associates who will travel to client places, who will be there along with the client to kind of implement projects. Having said that, there is like Ram mentioned, there is good amount of structured learning that we kind of offer. Along with that, there's this aspect of on-the-job learning. That becomes an important part of anybody's learning curriculum, right? So in terms of my own experiences, I've learned a lot on the job. I came with a bit of a background in terms of financial businesses from the places I worked in. So for me, it was a different kind of a path that happened. For the younger crowd that is there. They can expect good amount of structured learning as well as on the job, in front of the client, on location learning as well, and that'll offer good amount of opportunities in terms of their career paths, as well as in terms of what they pick up as part of the learning process. Back to you.
There is a question. Yeah. There's a question asking, on which tech track will freshers like me get trained on? Yeah, it is primarily Java stack of products. It is not just about the technology. There's somebody else who has asked, what is the role of a fintech engineer, right? The role can be uh, uh, very diversified, right? As you grow up, right, at somebody senior, you'll be into solution design. Or you do a program design, or you do a code design, or a test design, right? It is about designing than just executing. You take more time thinking about designing your code rather than just executing. The future is not just about writing multiple lines of code, but it's about going towards zero coding. That is what you will do. But yes, for the specific question on the tech track, Pete had already responded on what are the different technologies that we are on. I'm not going to be repeating, but yes, we are primarily a Java shop, and Java stack of products is what we are typically on. Yeah. And maybe you'd like to take this also, Harpreet. Maybe this might be the last question that I will be throwing before we go into announcing the winners, right? I find this really interesting. Being a fintech company, what are the challenges that you face on a daily basis? You face a lot of challenges, I know that, right? What are the challenges that you face on a daily basis?
Yeah, so being a fintech company, since we are working a lot with banks and FIs, right? Their challenge becomes our challenge, right? So in terms of anything which is let's say not working up to the satisfaction of their end customers becomes a challenge. In terms of certain emergencies, if something if there is some breakdown in the normal functioning of the bank, that becomes a challenge for us. Making sure that we have the right people, the right teams in place at the hotspots that matter, that becomes that is a challenge for us. Making sure that we are up, awake and running as fast as our clients need to, right? That is obviously these are challenges that we kind of face routinely. These are also the opportunities as I translate them, right? For us to kind of learn and make ourselves better, right? So for us, keeping pace, things like keeping pace with the modern technologies is something that we do very well, and that is a challenge for us to kind of keep innovating on the fly, right? So anything which is appearing as a challenge or an opportunity, right? For me, there are two sides of the same coin, right? So for us, every opportunity there becomes a challenge, and every challenge we try and convert it into an opportunity, right? So that's the way I would want to put it forward to the crowd that is here.
I mean, it's been an amazing experience interacting with you guys. I know I work with you and I interact with you on a regular basis, but today it's brought in some of those areas which typically do not come out on a day-to-day basis. Good, thank you for that, all of you. Now we are moving over to announcing the winners of the challenge that we have put out, right? More than 2,000 people have taken it. Yeah, we have now closed it. And let me go from the third ranked person. This person gets to win a Bose speaker. Bose is one of the best brands. And the third rank goes to Kandregula Parimala from Vignan's Institute of Engineering for Women. Yeah, so excellent. Congratulations. I don't know if you can hear just 5 of us clapping here, and let everyone clap for her. And the second rank goes to Carol Mendonca from Father Rodriguez College of Engineering, Mumbai. Right, that's the second rank, and you get a Cofiera, which is Bose headphones. Yeah, and the first rank, the person who's gotten placed first, 5,000 people viewed, more than 2,500 people took it up, and the first ranked person is Aman from Maharaja Surajmal Institute of Technology, Delhi. Congratulations, Aman. We look forward to meeting you in the next round, and happy to invite you guys over to Intellect. Looking forward to seeing many bright minds joining us. Thanks everyone for taking the time to join us. You may this will be available on our YouTube channel, Intellect Talks, for you to watch at any point of time. Even if you want to let your friends know about it, so you can do that. For now, we have put a hold on all the tests. We have lots of people who have already taken it. We'll take a call on when we will open it. We will be communicating to you. We've got all your IDs. We're going to be writing to you again with the design thinking course, whether you're joining us or not. We would like you to get benefited from out of the course on design thinking. Do join us in the third or the fourth week of January. Whenever we announce, please do join in and benefit out of that. With that, friends, we are signing off, wishing you all the very best in your life, and God bless you all. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you. All the best.
All the very best.